Hello, good morning or afternoon. This is our first lesson in our Unit 0.5 or Section 2, where we are going to be looking at lab safety and learning in the science environment. So our first one here on lab safety is called Safer Sorry is kind of the big theme. Better safe than sorry in our picture here. And safety requires, if you're in the lab, recognizing dangers, predicting problems, and respecting and not fearing our tools and supplies. So let's talk about this. All right, the first thing, recognizing danger. So which of these is more inherently dangerous? You have a space on your notes to write it down. The scissors or the razor blade? Go ahead and pause if you need to write this down. Now, clearly, razor blades are going to be more inherently dangerous than scissors, right? Inherent means just the thing itself is that, right? And when we talk about recognizing the danger of objects like this, so here's some school glue, there's some in a bin, you use it millions of times, and this is an object that we would call generally safe. But meh on there, like, how dangerous is this? Meh. Dangerous? It's glue, right? It's like, super safe glue. And generally safe means that that object is not going to cause problems unless you really try. Part of being a human being is the fact that you can turn pretty much anything into a weapon. A pencil, a water bottle, a textbook. You can hurt someone with those things, and you shouldn't, but you could. But you have to really intentionally try to do something that is reckless, dangerous, or otherwise like that to hurt somebody with it. So generally safe. Okay. Now here we got a thumbtack. And this is something that we're looking at. This is kind of low risk. And I put, you got to pay attention. Low risk, meaning that you're probably not going to get hurt using it. It probably won't hurt somebody else or have something bad happen. But it's possible to accidentally get hurt with it if you're being careless, right? And then the next one is high risk. I'll move my face for a moment. That is a bottle of hydrochloric acid. An acid, especially strong acids, powerful acids, they can cause harm the second they touch you. And this is high risk. I put oof on there for fun to get the idea home. But high risk means that this is going to easily hurt somebody. Even if you're doing everything you're supposed to do with it, the tiniest little mistake can cause harm to somebody. And that makes it a high risk item. Now, as we look here, let's predict problems. So what can go wrong? A really important aspect of figuring out, can I or can I not treat this certain ways is what can go wrong with it, right? With a textbook, I guess you could drop it on your foot and hurt your feet, but if you're using a textbook normally, nothing's going to happen. Using a thumbtack normally, then maybe something goes wrong, right? Maybe you poke somebody with it, maybe it falls off an edge, or somebody sits on it, puts their hand on it. It could hurt somebody a little bit, even if you're not doing anything too crazy. And of course, razor blades and acid, those can easily hurt someone if any tiny mistake happens. So you got to be careful with them. And then once you've thought of these things that could happen with them, you could cut with a razor blade. How do I prevent that? How can I use the item, store the item, etc., in a way that does not allow for the possibility that somebody gets hurt or something gets damaged? So here I've got this little thing, respect versus fear. And so a way to think about this, let's say you see a wild dog, like a street dog. You never seen a dog before in your life. You don't know the dog at all. Now, if you run at it like, oh my gosh, bud, puppy, it doesn't respect the danger. If that dog is aggressive, you could cause it to get scared and defend itself from its point of view and start biting you or attacking you. So, we all agree, if you see a random street dog, running at it is not a good idea. However, if you just run away from it in terror, and if you're like, oh my God, that dog might hurt me, you start running, it might chase you. Just the natural instinct of animals, especially predatory animals like dogs and cats, is to chase something running from you, right? If you just kind of keep your distance and act like normal, like no big deal, that's often the safest, just respecting the dog instead of being afraid of it, right? And when you're interacting with lab materials of any kind, right, whether it's one of my ramps, whether it's a weight set, whether it's a chemical, or scissors or a razor blade, you need to recognize how dangerous it is. Is it generally safe, like that glue stick was? Is it low risk, like a thumbtack, a pair of scissors, or high risk, like acid in razor blades? Predict the potential problems, like we did earlier, and respect the dangers you predicted. And remember, you're reasonably safe. You're fairly safe as long as you and people around you respect the danger that these objects present, right? So here is your lab safety digital assignment for this one. So partner up with another student at this point. If there's nobody you can talk to, you can talk to me, but I think people will be there with you. Now, each of you silently in your head, don't say it, look around the classroom and pick an item and assess. That means kind of, think about it, figure it out. Is that item generally safe? Is it low risk or is it high risk? And think of an explanation as to why your assessment makes sense, is reasonable. Then share that pick and assessment with your partner. Then think about it before it happens, 3 ways your partner's object could harm or damage a person or property, whether that's like cutting a textbook or, drawing on the wall, right? How you can damage a person or property. Then last, come to me and tell me about one of those objects, the risk assessment, and this is the new thing, what you could do to reduce a risk.